I can't help being me by nature, you can't help being you by nature, and they can't help being them by nature. Societies are full of optimists, pessimists, and those in between. Let's call them well-balanced people. Life wouldn't work if everyone was optimistic, pessimistic, or just in between. If everybody was optimistic, then we would just charge headlong with a devil-may-care attitude into all sorts of situations, because society would say, go on, do it, spend this, spend that, do this, do that, it'll be all right in the end, don't worry about it. And you can imagine the complete catastrophe that would cause. If everyone was pessimistic, then was, oh no, we mustn't do that just in case this happens or that happens, and how would that restrict technology and advancements in science and medicine and everything else. And if everyone was just sensible and in between, where would the fun be in that? Society needs optimists and pessimists and those in between to keep the rest of us on a tight leash. Whoever's chosen for those roles is up to a higher authority than us. We just have to accept it at birth, and then we kind of grow into it and we realise we are either optimists or pessimists or sensible people, usually by the time we've made a few mistakes, done a few things we regret. Then we start realising, I'm an optimist, me, or I'm a bit of a pessimist, me, or thank goodness I'm just in between. But it often seems that language is prepared to assign different characteristics to different pessimisms or optimisms. You think about it. Optimisms. If you think it's all the oochie coochie words, it'll be all right, it's nice, don't worry about it, oochie coochie coochie. But all the pessimistic things, or most of the pessimistic things, as we will come to shortly, are harsher. No, bad, crash, bang, consonants, as opposed to vowels. But it's not always the case. Have you noticed that the words themselves, pessimism and optimism, going against all conventions, they have the same number of vowels as they have consonants. But just at the beginning of the words, think about it, the fate has kind of got in, the lexicon has got in, language has actually got in and thought, no, you're not getting away with it that easy. Because the first few letters, the first three letters, optimism, nice rounded vowel, optimism, it's going to be all right, everything's cuddly woodly. And then you've got pessimism, which begins with a p and ends with a sibilant s. Pessimism, optimism, pessimism, optimism. So even in language, even when you assign the same number of vowels and the same number of consonants, going against convention, where bad things usually have more consonants and good things have more vowels, it's like, we're getting a little bit personal now. Language is getting a little bit personal now. So we don't want to upset anybody, because we're not just talking about bad things like car crashes or baby born. We're not talking about things like that. We're talking about personal things. We're talking about characteristics, personalities. We don't want to upset the apple cart, so we'll give them the same number of vowels, we'll give them the same number of consonants, we'll make them, but we'll just put a little bit of emphasis on the meaning of each one. Optimism, pessimism. See how language works? No wonder people delve into language and spend their whole life kind of going in and disseminating and breaking down languages, because They're fabulous things, and they're fabulous things that we carry around with us all our lives. I used to say this to people. We know what's out in space, but a lot of us don't know what's an inch under here. We walk around with our bodies, with our organs inside our bodies for up to a century. But do we actually know exactly where our liver is and exactly where our spleen is? Do we know where our carotid artery runs? Do we know about our nervous system? Do we know where our capillaries grow smaller? Do we know where is arterial blood? Do we know where is venous blood? We don't, do we? We know all about the world out there, but we know so little about what's inside. And that's why doctors are doctors and linguists are linguists. So we walk around in our own heads, don't we, all our life, not knowing what's inside our body, but being totally aware of whether we are an optimist or pessimist or somewhere in between. We're aware of it, and I think it has a great bearing on our life. It has a great bearing on how successful we are. I tend to think that optimistic people lead more chaotic lives from day to day, making less measured decisions, going on impulse, which is absolutely fine. It's what I've done all my life, and I've kind of ended up with not a lot except great memories. And at the end of the day, it's been good, it's been bad, but I can look back and think, yeah, it would have been nice to have had a bit more financial security. It would have been nice to have done this and done that and had this and had that. But I can look back and it's all history now. It's all behind me. I've lived my life and there's nothing I can do about it. It's a spilt milk syndrome, isn't it? There's no point worrying about it. And I feel that pessimistic people tend to think more about decisions, don't they? So I think, like my brother, I think my brother is a little bit of a pessimist. And my friend Sue is a total, I mean, she takes optimism to its natural conclusions and beyond. I'm happy to be an optimist. I don't get too worried about things. I don't regret decisions. I could spend money on something and then it be the wrong thing and not being able to use it and have to shove it in the back of a drawer and leave it. And it wouldn't bother me, and I've done that umpteen times in the past, and it wouldn't bother me one jot. I'd probably just give it away. Big deal. It's only money. But that attitude has kind of led me down a road where I've let things slip through my fingers. I've let houses slip through my fingers. I probably let marriages slip through my fingers because I was just the optimist who didn't take things too seriously when I was in relationships where I was expected to take things more seriously, and that must be extremely frustrating for the person you're living with. Just like being a pessimist must be frustrating when you can't find it difficult to make decisions, where you're looking at the bad side of every situation, looking at the worst case scenario, the worst outcome all the time. That must be very frustrating as well. So perhaps the people who are halfway in between will get the end result, will probably get the better end result in life when you're talking about financial security, social security, but probably don't have as much fun as everybody else. You can't help being what you are. You can't help being who you are. You can't help being the optimist or the pessimist. So don't worry about it and don't try to change it, because you can't. You can't change the colour of your eyes. You can't change the shape of your nose. Well, you can, but not by willpower alone. So if you're an optimist, live with it. Know that the chances are you will make decisions more on impulse, and those decisions may end up having negative outcomes. If you're a pessimist, you may end up making decisions that you've thought long and hard about that may wield you more financial gains. But the thing is, if you're a pessimist, you can make a decision, and if you fall on your arse, you've more or less expected it. So you accept it, you don't worry about it. So basically, come to the conclusion, just by in my own head, by talking about it, that pessimists and optimists end up with the same kind of results at the end of the day, don't they? And at the end of the day, let's face it, it's nature that makes these decisions, and nature's much bigger than us. Nature has a bigger game plan than us. Nature knows what it's doing. Nature knows that when it makes the pessimists, and when it makes the optimists, and when it makes the people in between, all it's doing is keeping things on the straight and narrow, keeping things from going headlong into chaos, keeping things from holding back and not realising its potential. And then the people who are in between, keeping us all on a short leash. Nature, very, very clever. I'm out in nature here, and it's a beautiful day, and it said it was going to be cold, so I put a woolly hat on, and now my head's hot. Nature is incredibly clever. Let's face it, nature's dog is a lot brighter than we are. Think about that when you're thinking about yourself. We shall see you on the flip. Peace and love.